hello there and welcome back to Mortars and Motors. You join me today at the wheel of my Mark III Fiesta, and today I'm going to be doing a special little pilgrimage with it. I'm heading down to London and I'm going to go and do a couple of things. The first thing is I'm going to go and take this car back to its factory where it was made in Dagenham. Of course they don't make cars there anymore and it's not really a factory properly anymore, but I'm hoping to be able to get close enough to at least see a Ford sign, because there is still some stuff going on there. And then I am going to go around the M25 and come into sort of Epsom Leatherhead area, and I'm going to go and see if I can find the original dealership where this car came from, and also the house where the first owner that had it for about 24 years lived. It's currently August 2023, and the reason I'm doing this little adventure now is that at the end of this month all of London becomes an ultra low emission zone, ULEZ, and this car, being only 34 years old, is not yet tax exempt and therefore is not yet ULEZ exempt. So to avoid paying £12.50 ULEZ charge, I thought what better way of kind of celebrating this car, celebrating the end of freedom of transport in Greater London, than by taking this car back to where it lived for all of its life until I bought it, and see what we can find. So join me for this little adventure. Well, first pit stop of the day is at McDonald's in Harlow. I'm about 33 minutes away from the Ford Heritage Centre in Dagenham. I'm going to go on the North Circular, so down the M11 all the way to Chigwell Way, and then on the North Circular around down to, I think, the A13, and then across to Dagenham. Okay, well I just got beeped at and waved at and gestured at by a guy in a Airfred BMW Alpina 3 Series. So hey, there's some hope for the Mark III Fiesta if an Alpina BMW driver gets excited about it. Sorry about the steering wheel in the way. Well, here it is in Dagenham. There's not a lot to be seen here, most of it's now a new housing estate. But there's a Ford sign in the background, so this is where my little car was born. It's raining and I'm going to get back in the car and go to the next destination. Well, Dagenham was a bit of a disaster, to be honest with you. The entire place, wherever the factory entrances were, all seem to be housing estates now, or housing developments with lots of scary no parking signs and things that you get fined if you even so much as look at this place. So I took a quick picture and a tiny bit of video, as you saw, and hot-footed it away. I am now at another McDonald's, just had a little wrap, and I'm going to be heading over to Epsom next. So let me show you why we are heading to Epsom. That is because I have got here the original sales invoice for my car, dated the 17th of April 1989. The model of Mark III Fiesta, by the way, went on sale on the 13th of April 89. The car was actually registered on the 18th, the day after, but clearly the paperwork all went through on the 17th. And it was sold by Page Motors Epsom Limited, who are a Ford main dealer, and they are 20 to 40 East Street, Epsom, Surrey. So that is where we are off to next, to see what we can find. It was, I feel, an error to go to McDonald's at lunchtime in Greater London, but there we are. Although I can see a R-Reg Volvo 940 there. Yeah, 940 CC plates, nice to see. Well then, here we are. This is where this car started life, after the factory at least. This is 20 to 40 East Street in Epsom, which is now Pets at Home, but in 1989 it was called Page Motors Limited. Let's go and have a proper look. So there we go. This is the facade that, certainly in 1989 and a long time before that, used to be Page Motors. You can see these kind of slightly 1950s maybe pillars, and these would have been open to let the cars in and to have them on display. If we take a walk around the side, I can see that it is 40 East Street and it is called Page House still. Hey, hey. Instantly, I did do a little bit of research, and it looks like Page Motors got taken over by Trust Ford, and Trust Ford traded from this branch for a number of years, but they have moved to bigger premises somewhere further away from the city centre or town centre. And Page Motors themselves, they still exist as Page Group, and I think they do accident repairs and that kind of thing. They have one branch somewhere in London and then the rest are kind of on the south coast, but it's the same family if you look on their website. Now, the first owner of my Fiesta was a Mrs. Atkinson of Meadow Court in Epsom. So yeah, in this kind of back lot is quite probably where Mrs. Atkinson would have first caught sight of her brand new model Fiesta on the 17th or 18th of April 1989. So I think it's high time to go and duplicate her first journey, shall we? Let's take it back to her house, which will be her first journey the car would ever have made. I'm in the middle of Epsom. It's really rather nice here. Shame about the rain. But yeah, it's quite fun to imagine that this is where Mrs. Atkinson would have been driving her brand new model Fiesta. She'd have been really stylish at the time. She traded in an X-Reg Metro for it, so this was such a step up in comparison to an X-Reg Metro. So yeah, I can imagine she must have been really very happy driving this out of the dealership and back to her house. I'm guessing that in 1989 perhaps some of this one-way system wasn't all here. So here's Meadow Court. It's a private estate, residence parking only, but this car park is where this car would have spent 24 years of its life. Oh my goodness. Well, here we go. Possibly in the same parking spaces it spent 24 years parking in, outside numbers 1 to 6 of Meadow Court. You're home, love. You're home. Okay, so the next owner of my car, which got it in about 2013, was somebody called Mrs. Wilson, and her address is 4 St James Road in Sutton. So that's quite near here, so let's plug that into the sat nav and let's go and have a look at it. I didn't manage to catch it in time, but we have literally just driven past East Station, which is, if you recall from my older videos, exactly where I bought this car from, the garage called Etwell Garage, and we've literally just driven past that. That's so funny. The car literally did not move out of this tiny little corner of south-west London. Of course, the other point to make with that, in fact, is that this is where I drove the Fiesta for the first time as well. Not just the original owner, but on this very road here, just coming out of the garage. How fun. Well, I have arrived at 4 St James Road, but this is a brand new set of apartment blocks. This is not an address that this car would have lived at. Looks like it could have been a very posh house or something. I mean, it's a massive plot to have been this block of flats. But that's newer. This is 2013 that it started living here, but that looks brand new. That's a shame. Well now, would you like my makeshift cup holder that doesn't chuck the cup sideways? Anyway, I've done a little bit of detective work. So on the V5, it's Mrs. Wilson of this address, 4 St James Road, which is now a block of flats. However, I was kind of looking through some of this paperwork thinking, is there any other clues? I discovered that the garage that did its MOTs was also 4 St James Road, Sutton. So this was a garage, this wasn't a house. So the car was registered to this as a garage. That's really interesting. I wonder if they still exist. Well, a few minutes of Googling later, and yes, the Sutton and Cheam Car Service Limited, which was at this address, still exists at a different address a couple of miles away. So I think I might go and pay them a visit. Let's see if they remember the car, because it was definitely owned by them. It was owned by them from 2013 till I think 2016-ish. Yeah, till 2016. So about 3 or 4 years in the mid-2010s. Let's see if they remember it. That'd be interesting. Nice Mark II Golf there. Well, I made it to Sutton and Cheam Limited, but the people who owned it 10 years ago don't seem to own it anymore, and the people who worked there, they said that there was nobody who'd been here as long as that, so nobody remembers the car. That's really sad. Aww. Well, anyway, I have one last pilgrimage to do, and that is to do a photo. Somebody took a photo of this car in 2014, just around the corner from here, and I'm going to go and see if I can recreate it. Well, that was a very quick stop, unfortunately, because all the parking spaces were taken up, so I parked very quickly on a double yellow line and took the photo, as you can see. Well, that's it. That's all I can do. I'm going to hit the road and head back to Cambridge. I absolutely love this car. It drives so nicely as well. And it just flies around these roads in London. It's made for them. It's fantastic. The gearbox is so light and delicate. And it's just got some guts. It's really nice. I've loved it. I really like this car, just in case you hadn't known. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this silly little journey. I've loved it. It's been fun, just kind of doing a little pilgrimage for this fabulous little car. Right, I'm going to hit the road. I'm going to put Dance Mania 95 onto the tape deck and party like it's 1995 for the next couple of hours. Do you remember this song? You probably don't. Okay, I picked the instrumental bit to talk to you on this now. Been waiting so long, just can't hold back no more. Weather just outside Cambridge is absolutely disgusting. It's really filthy. Well, just a little postscript. I am safely back home. The journey back was atrocious. The weather was appalling at some points. There was massive queues going up to the Dartford Tunnel. There was rain going up the M11. It was really hideous. But this Fiesta is such a hero. It just took it all in its stride, no bother, nothing phased it at any point throughout the day today. Remember, this is a base model Fiesta from 34 years ago. And it kept up with modern traffic today just as well as anything else on the roads today. I'm comfortable, I'm happy, I'm cool, I'm warm, depending on what the weather was, I'm dry, and I enjoyed the tunes. Yeah, I absolutely love this little car. It is base model brilliance at its absolute best. See you in the next video.